Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer, and I'm playing Falling Sky, the Gallic revolt against Caesar. Well, right now it seems that there's not so much left of the Gallic revolt. The Belgae, which kind of started the revolt, are already nearly defeated. There's not much left of their territory. The only one which they still control is this territory here of the Morini. Everything else is now controlled by the Romans. On the other hand, we've only played about 3 turns or so. So, yeah, the game will probably go on for quite a while. Although you never know, it could end with each of these winter cards. Anyway, the Romans are doing very good. I think they need one more point to fulfill their victory conditions. I thought at the end of the last turn they actually did that, but they've lost another one to the Aedui here. So therefore I think they have about 15 points now. The Aedui, they have 3, while the best other faction also has only 3 allies. So basically, if they gain one more ally, they are also in range of victory here. Okay, now let's see, let's start the next turn. Yeah, okay. Now we could now activate the Germans, bring quite a few of them into the game. And maybe causing problems to the Romans, and it, well, I'm not sure, but that could be an interesting choice. Place 4 Germanic warbands each in the Nervii and Treveri regions. That would be here and here. 4 each is a lot. We would then have here 7, 4 here. Then conduct an immediate Germans phase as if winter, but skip rally. Not sure how good that is. I gotta check what happens if we would have seen if we would see a German phase then. So I think this card, Segni and Condrusi, is a pretty chaotic thing. I'm not sure. There are some random elements here and so, but I think I want to play that. The Belgic player is under a lot of pressure, and maybe this will shake things up a little. So we're going to place 4 Germanic warbands each in the Nervii and Treveri region. So there are not even that enough left here. So I guess I'm going to place... hard to tell. Yeah, maybe a few more here. 4 here. Maybe, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. No, I think I want to actually place 4 up there. Okay, I mean, I think this could also fire back at us, but yeah, I'm in a position where I might want to gamble a bit. Then conduct an immediate German phase as if winter, but skip rally. Okay. And this is an event. So let's see, how does that work? We have here. Okay, this isn't so easy now. March into adjacent regions. From regions with 1+ more Germans than control. So wait a second. First, this is still, no, this is under no one's control, because nobody has more than everybody else. And here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, that is under German control. Okay. With as many warbans as possible without losing Germanic control, largest moving groups first. Into one region per origin, first to add German control, then to player control, then random. Okay, now we can move from here. Let's mark that a little bit. Yeah, basically from here and from down there. Okay. So with as many warbans as possible. Now let's start up here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Roman pieces. So we can move with up to 3. With as many warbans per okay. Largest group moving first. Now this would be 3. This would be actually 4. So I think these guys will move first then. Into one region per origin. First to add German control, then to player control, then random. So I guess we can add German control here or there. Now if we move, now this one is controlled by a player, that not. So I got a feeling that they will actually move down here. Maybe that's not right, but I think it kind of makes sense. So they move down here with this group, and now that becomes German controlled. Okay. Then into one region. Okay. So if they now move with 3 guys from here, they can move in here. And then they might, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, they're not able to control it anyway. So I guess they either move here or there, because these are the ones that are under player control. So let's hope they move here. On a 1 to 3, they move actually to the Atrebates area. And that was bad, because now we actually have these guys here in our own area where we definitely did not want them, but yeah, okay. And then they become all hidden, or the scouted is removed. So that's what happens. Then they will raid in regions with hidden Germans and a non-German faction that has pieces but neither fort nor citadel, with as many warbans as possible. Only against factions with resources, against players before non-players, otherwise choose randomly among possible target factions within each region. Okay, now again, things can go wrong. First, well, it's an interesting question. I mean, the question is, will they move these guys or these guys in here? That makes, in this case, a real difference. And maybe there is a rule for that somewhere. Okay, I'm just too lazy to look that up. So I'm going to kind of split it. The only question is, will the bigger amount of forces will be the scouted ones? So on a 1 to 3, I'll make that a yes. No, okay. So actually that means that only one scouted force moves here and the other ones remain here. And now we see the raids. And how does that work? Reduce resources. Any regions with hidden Germans and with Romans with no fort or goals with no citadel. Procedure: 1 or 2 hidden Germans, warbands per region to revealed. Reduce that Roman or Gauls resources by 1 per warband flipped. Okay, so here it's now the question, will they attack the Romans? On a 1 to 3, that's going to happen. And yes. So in this case, they will steal 2 resources from the Romans. Here it is impossible because the Romans have a fort. And here, same thing. The Romans on a 1 to 3. And, well, here it's the Belgae. So that sucks for them. And down here, the Aedui, they also lose resources. Okay. Finally, we see battle and ambush in regions with Germans and another faction that has fewer hidden pieces. Okay, that is... Well, that's not the case here, because there they don't have any hidden pieces. Here, though, the Romans have fewer hidden pieces than the Germans. Here not. Well, but they might here attack the Belgae. Yeah. And here we also see an attack. Okay, the Germans, they do this ambush attack. And to do an ambush, you need more hidden pieces than the defender. I'm not exactly sure what that... And another faction that has fewer hidden pieces. Yeah, okay, that's the case here. So what we do is, we now attack, and now every unit that attacks, and I think that includes also the revealed pieces, but I'm not absolutely positive about that. So basically each loss, or each piece causes 1 loss. So these are not halved if you have an ambush. Also, the defender cannot retreat. I wonder what about the fortress, if that still halves the losses, and if it's only these 2 guys that can do the ambush. I gotta check that. Okay, so actually things are a little different when the Germans ambush. Unlike normal battle, and as in other ambush, the defender must remove a piece for each loss suffered, including leader, legion, citadel, or fort, without first rolling a 1 to 3. The defender must remove pieces in a sum equal to half per Germanic warband there, or half that sum if defenders have a citadel of 4. Okay. Okay, so that means that they actually lose 1, right? They lose 1 guy here. And that's all. because usually they would lose 2. Because of the fort, they lose 1. Okay. Ah, God. And then I assume these guys are revealed. Right here, we can attack the Belgae, and they lose also 1. Okay. And down here, the Aedui lose their peace. And I guess that's pretty much it then. Okay. So that was a crazy card, and let's take a look about the history of that card. Number 69. Segni and Condrusi. Like the Gauls, Germans who found themselves living within the new reach of the Roman army faced a choice of declaring themselves either with or against more aggressive brethren who might at any time be challenging the Romans. The Belgae and Germans were a mixed people with some Germanic tribes living within Gaul. Upon Ambiorix's flight in 53 BC, the Segni and Condrusi, who are counted among the German people and who live between the Eburones and Treveri, sent envoys to Caesar to beg him not to consider them among the number of his enemies, or to judge all the Germans this side of the Rhine to be united in a common purpose. They had never considered war, they had never sent reinforcements to Ambiorix. Caesar does not say whether he believed these claims, but that he agreed to spare these tribes if they would hand over Eburones fugitives that they had harbored. Well, obviously this time was a little different, and they were basically fighting everyone here. And if the Belgae are now happy with that action or not remains in doubt. Okay, then it's the Arverni, and they need some troops here on the map, so I'm pretty sure they're going to rally. And rallying is actually their big strength. They pay 1 resource per region. So let's see, let's do it. Let's do as many as we can. I'm not sure if we can do it in uncontrolled regions, but we'll find out. Each region, if Arverni control or Vercingetorix, plays 1 ally. Well, okay, let's do that. So we can place an ally here, and we can place an ally there. That means that the Romans lose 2. And it also means that this goes up. Okay. Let's see. What applies here? We don't control that. Is that? Yeah, but there is an ally leader. Yeah, there's an ally. So we can place warbands +1. Or we could, yeah, I think that's actually what we can do. So we could place 2 warbands there because we have 1 ally +1. Yeah, so we're going to place 2 2 warbands here. Means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this thing is no longer under control. And we gotta pay $3 for that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, then we can do one of these special abilities. I'm considering doing this entreat thing. Regions with hidden Arverni and within one region of Vercingetorix or with a successor. That's basically only that one. Replace either one warband or auxilia. Or if Arverni control one Gallic or German ally. There with its Arverni counterpart. So I think I'm not allowed to place it on a subdued area. Yeah, it's not going to be possible because there is no other controlled region here. So I think that's it then for me. We have a good event card here for the Roman player Claudius Pulcher. And there we are. Patrician by birth, adopted plebeian by Pompey and Caesar in order to be eligible for the tribunate. Popularis politician Publius Claudius Pulcher had helped see to Caesar's political interest in the Senate and Rome while Caesar campaigned on the other side of the Alps. In 58 BC, Claudius engineered exile of the nettlesome Cicero. Claudius' infamous methods for controlling Roman politics featured outright thuggery, however. When Arrivus' retainers murdered Claudius on the Appian Way in January 52, the resulting unrest kept Caesar in Cisalpina longer than usual and added to Gallic conspirators' optimism in plotting their great revolt. Well, in this case, the murder didn't happen yet. Instead, it's simply the popularist Senate leader who shifts the Roman Senate to adulation. And that means in the next winter phase, Caesar can also use these legions down here. And that is definitely an advantage for him. Okay, now it's the Aedui, and let me see what they can do here. So the Aedui, they're gonna rally again. So but before they do that, they will use a suborn action. And they can do that with a region with a hidden Aedui warband, so that's they're going to do it here in the Mandubis region. They pay 2 resources per ally, 1 per other piece. So overall they're going to pay 4 resources there. Place or remove up to 3 pieces there total. At most 1 piece may be an allied tribe. Others must be warbands and or auxilia. So, actually I'm not absolutely sure how that would work now. I think I can remove this one here. And then place, for example, 2 warbands. Now that gives me the control over this area. And now I can rally, and I'm going to rally here, there, and there, paying 3 more resources. And That means I can place one ally here. Although I kind of wonder if I should maybe exchange this one. Yeah, I think I want to make that a citadel first, to strengthen my position there. And then I'm going to gain, I think, 2 warbands there, or one here and another one here, I guess. The Belgae will again, I'm not even sure if they need them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they will simply attack the Romans here. And because there is a B-Rex with them, that means each of these warbands will actually do a full damage, and also the leader does a damage. So that means these 2 guys are definitely dead. And then we have, I think, 6 possible damage. Now he can roll for the Legion, and on a 1, 2, 3, the Legion will die. So the first hit, yeah, okay, that's it. So now that Legion moves here to the Fallen Legions. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it then. Now, the Arverni and the Aedui came to kind of an agreement. They said, okay, I'll leave you the central part and maybe the western part, the eastern part, if you leave me the western part and my home province. And because the Aedui are not that good in fighting, they are happy for now with that. With that agreement, and maybe they will leave the fighting to the Romans and simply build up slowly. That is a pretty solid strategy for them, I think. So that was a command. The Arverni wanted to prevent that event from happening, which would have allowed the to be 6 Arverni warbands removed. That's definitely not what we want. And the advantage was also not that great. Therefore, they only took a command. So now the second player can only do a limited command here. And I'm not sure what that will be. It could be the Romans. They might also pass. So the Romans did indeed a limited command. They battled here, which cost them $2. And that removed the last Belgic warband and also the Belgic tribe here. So if I'm not completely wrong, there are now 16 subdued tribes and 1 ally of the Romans. So you can see tons of these subdued tribes here everywhere. So the Romans are now clearly in the victory zone. There is no doubt about that. So now the Belgae will actually use the German allegiances An intervention, march Germans from up to 2 regions, then ambush with all Germans able. So that's a pretty bad news for the Romans. And I wonder if I can kill Caesar. That would be awesome. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Germans. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that's really interesting. I gotta look that up. I think Caesar has a chance to fight back then. If he's lucky. We gotta roll for this. I gotta check that. Well, actually, we cannot kill Caesar simply because these guys, the Germans, do only half a damage if they do an ambush. But anyway, I mean, they can move in here and then they can simply destroy these 3 pieces. Because of the ambush, there is no roll for the fort, and the Romans cannot retreat. So we now have actually fallen region, 3 pieces in the fallen regions box, and that again gives Vercingetorix or the Arverni a little bonus here. They are now at 7 here, which means I think they need a little more, but I'm not sure. Well, yeah, I think they want actually 6 of map legions. Ah, yeah, wait a minute. This is... Yeah, of course, exactly. They want 6 of map legions. So that would be enough, but they also need a few more allies before they can actually fulfill their victory conditions here. But it's not looking that good at the moment for the Romans. They are at least losing troops. They're still controlling a ton of territory here. And then we see the Aedui doing a command. Okay, now we can do a trade action. First we did a rally action with the Aedui. They placed an allied marker here. And now we want to trade. And we can do this in regions within supply lines. Now supply is a chain of adjacent regions to Cisalpina, each with either no control or control of a faction that agrees. So let's see. From what I understand, we can do that in these 3 territories here. There is a supply line here to Provincia. So that means we gain +1 to Aedui resources for each Aedui ally and citadel, each subdued tribe under Aedui control, and each Roman ally under Aedui control. Okay, and if the Romans agree to a trade, we can make that +2. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means we would get 10 out of it. Now we could say to the Romans, okay, you know, I give you money, let's say 3. If we come to that agreement, so I get 7, you get 3 of that, of these 10. Something like that. Problem is, though, that the Romans are already in that victory margin, so I'm not sure if the Aedui will agree to that. On the other hand, there's a good chance that the Arverni will take some of these subdued tribes, and then the Romans will lose this. So I think the Aedui actually will, let's say on a 1 to 4, they come to an agreement here, and yes. So therefore the Aedui take, let's say 7, and the Romans get 3 additional resources. That is definitely pretty powerful for both sides. So I feel like the Romans really need to strengthen their position. They're not in the best state here. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to use a command plus special ability, and they're going to seize. Now, that gives them resources, and that's what they need. They can place... Wait a second. They can do this in any regions with Roman pieces. Okay. And it's for free. Okay. Disperse subdued tribes at Roman control as desired to a maximum of 4 markers. Okay, the Arverni and Belgae roll for each, and on a 1 to 3 they can free rally. Well, I want to avoid that. If not devastated, gain +2 resources per subdued tribe, and Roman ally +6 per dispersed marker place. Okay. So I guess, I'm not sure about that actually. Do I really get +2 resources per subdued tribe anywhere on the board? That would be pretty crazy. I find that hard to believe. Well, there have to be Roman pieces, obviously. I forgot that. So, let's see. I want to do it in this region, and in Provincia. Okay. Now, I want to place 1 dispersed marker here at the Treveri area here. And then nobody can rally here because there are no Belgae or Arverni adjacent. Well, maybe that actually is not important. Maybe they could actually rally anyway. At least the Belgae might allow to rally here, because that's kind of their home country. So I think that could be possible. On a 1 to 3 they can. No, they can't. And I'm pretty sure the others are not allowed to rally in a region where they have not even pieces. One resource per region, each region. No. Okay. Only here, where there is the Belgae home area. Well, maybe then also here, actually. Yes, there they can do it, so they can simply place one Belgic unit in here, because there is this small rally marker here. Okay, anyway, that gives me 6 resources. Then I get 2 resources per subdued tribe and Roman ally. So 1, 2, 3, that's 6. This one down here is 8, plus 6 makes it 14. So that's definitely better now. That brings me to 23. That gives me quite a bit of money. Then I can build a Roman ally or supply line with Romans, and within one of Caesar, 2 resources per fort or ally placed or removed. Roman, or remove 1 non-Roman ally. I think I want to place a fortress in here. That costs me $2. And there we go. Okay. Then actually that was a command and a special ability. And then it's the Arverni, and they're going to take the Ballistae event, place near a Gallic faction. That faction, after ambush, may remove defending fort or citadel. That's a pretty good one, so they're going to get that one. Oops. It's a shaded capability. Next card. Okay, there's the winter. Now it's going to be interesting. And we got to count again very well now. If someone can actually win this, would be a pretty short game if that would be the case. Well, that could have actually be a real short one. And I think it will. Because we have this card here. Now, the Aedui are the first eligible faction. So the thing is, right at the moment after counting, wait a second, I'm not absolutely sure. Let's count again. 1. So I'm going to go region per region. So 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This one, the dispersed one, is then 14. I forgot about that. We got this one here, 15. And we got the ally, that makes it 16, if I'm not mistaken. So actually, the Romans would fulfill their victory conditions. At the moment they are at 16. The Arverni, there are 7 here, which is good. They need at least 7 to fulfill one of their victory conditions, 7 off-map legions. But they also need at least 9 allies, and they don't have that many. They only have 4. The Belgae, they suck. They need a lot. Control plus allies. Well, at the moment they have this under control, which is 2 points plus 2 allies, so they are just at 4 there. And they want that to be, I don't know, 16. Okay, I mean, that's not going to happen. But the Aedui might be able to win that, because at the moment they control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's not true. Why is there only a 4 here? That's kind of funny. There are 5 on the board. I find that strange. I think I made a mistake during setup. I think this is a spare part, because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 citadels or allies. And that means they also have at the moment fulfilled their victory conditions, and exactly by the same margin as the Romans, by 1 point. But the Aedui are still eligible, and they are the first faction here. So they can play that card, the boy. Now let's say what the historical background of that card is. Because that can be the card that will probably change or determine the victor here. The Boii were remnants of a once powerful Celtic people who had joined the ill-fated 58 BC attempt at relocation by the Helvetii. Caesar resettled them on Aedui territory, and under their protection at the Aedui's border with rival tribes such as the Bituriges and Arverni. At a moment of some Roman suspicion of Aedui loyalty, Vercingetorix besieged the Boii stronghold of Gorgobina while Caesar was campaigning to the north. Caesar feared that once a people subject to the Aedui had been defeated, the whole of Gaul would desert him, in view of the fact that he had no protection to offer his friends. Caesar's messengers bid the Boii to resist, and so they did until Vercingetorix had to lift his siege. Okay. Well, and these guys... Word of Aedui clients resistance. Aedui or Romans place 2 allies and 2 warbands or auxilia at or adjacent to Aedui control. And there we go. Because that now allows them to place, I don't know, basically they can do it either here or there. I'm going to do it here because I kind of had that deal with Vercingetorix. So I'm going to place these 2 guys here, and I'm also going to place 2 warbands there. And that means, now this control is gone, that the Aedui have now definitely more allies or citadels, 7, than the highest guy, which is the Arverni with 4, and the Romans lose 2 of their subdued tribes to the Aedui. Yeah. And that's a problem now. Question is, we have the Belgae. Can they do anything to prevent that victory? They still have a command. well, maybe they can use the the Germans for an attack here, but even that would only destroy these two warbands and not the allies. Okay, well, from what I see, there is no way for the Belgae to prevent that from happening, so they're simply going to pass instead. And believe it or not, the game ends here. It's the first winter. And the first thing you do, as you can see, is you check for the victory conditions. And the Aedui managed actually to win that game. So, well, maybe we can talk a little bit about that. It's strange, you know, because it was so fast, and it is hard to actually say a lot about that game now, because I think you got a first impression how it plays, but yeah, it's there was not so much of a storytelling going on here. It was just over too fast. I probably made a mistake by not realizing, well, I could not exactly know that the winter was already there at that point. And therefore, I felt sure that that the Arverni would take some of these subdued provinces, and but I didn't realize. Yeah, and that would then give them more tribes, but I didn't really realize how close the Aedui were to a victory. The funny thing is that this actually happened in a multiplayer game too. I was playing the Aedui then, and it was pretty much the same thing. We all played and nobody was counting on me, and then there was a winter and I was actually the last one eligible, and I did some rally action somewhere and simply placed a marker like that and said, okay, that's it, I've won the game. And first everybody thought that was kind of a joke or something, but that's exactly what happened. I mean, I was always working together with the Romans and, you know, just slowly getting a few more and more, and they were fighting each other, so nobody really had a lot of allies or citadels. And then in the end it was enough to have, I don't know, 5 or 6 or something, and I've won the game that way. So, and I think it was also after the first winter, so it is not a completely unrealistic outcome here. This can happen. So, what do I think about it? Again, that's a tough call. And it's the same problem that I have with all the games of the coin series. On the one hand, I find it fascinating in many ways. I think it's a great concept. From the 3 games that I've played, Andean Abyss, Cuba Libre, and Falling Sky, this is the one that I enjoyed most. It feels, for some reason, less abstract. I can find a better bond, a better relationship to what's going on there. It makes a lot of sense to me that you need allies, allied tribes, and then when you have these allied tribes, you can get war bands from them, and so on. All these things make a lot of sense to me. I also like the leader mechanics, the fortresses and the citadels, the battles. They seem a little bit they seem very complex or fiddly, but once you get used to it, it's not that bad. The Germans are also an interesting additional part here. The Legion track. I think these are all cool options. Also, the trading mechanism between the Aedui and the Romans is very interesting. That really encourages them to work together, and there is some deal making going on, which is pretty awesome, I think. Still, one of the problems for me remains here. It remains a pretty abstract game. It feels nearly more like a Euro than like a real war game. I always feel it's kind of this between the two genres here, you know. And sometimes it feels a little too abstract for me. Sometimes I have difficulties to really get caught by a storytelling aspect or you know, to really get captured by the game flow or so. The more you play these games, the coin games, the easier it gets. At the beginning it's really horrible. I think they have a very strong learning curve, and it's really hard to get into them. But, you know, if you play them more and more, it becomes easier and easier, and the game becomes more fluently. Still, you know, it just does not blow me away. I think it's a good game, and I like to play it, I enjoy playing it, but I'm afraid the coin series will not be one of my favorite games. Although I really want it to be that way, because I'm fascinated by the concept, by the themes of the different games. I think they are also very, very good. But there's always a little bit missing to really capture me completely. And I think it is this highly grade of abstraction. But yeah, anyway, I can definitely enjoy that one, and not every game has to be a favorite game, right? So, hope to see you on my next series or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.